Today, guys, we're going to be having a special call. What I'm going to do is introduce our guest speaker. For most of you, he needs no introduction. He is a senior vice president in ACN. He has been consistently a top producer for years in the company, all through the ranks from team coordinator, which is now called regional director, all the way up to regional vice president platinum, and senior vice president. He's a mentor to many. He's a thought leader, and he is someone that I consider a good friend, someone that I can talk to, just down to earth individual, but with so much wisdom to be able to share on how to have success, not just in business, but also in life. So without any further ado, I want to introduce my friend, top producing senior vice president, Mr. Byron Nelson.
How are you?
It's good to see you. I'm doing well.
It's good. You know what? I use the statement, it's better being seen than being viewed.
Absolutely. I like that.
And you guys know I've been on for the last couple of weeks with a whole lot of just life things happening. What's crazy is I'm actually at a speaking event in New York at St. Joseph. It's like one of the top colleges here in New York. And right when I was supposed to get on 2 minutes ago, a guy had a cardiac. He's having a cardiac right now. Paramedics, everybody's coming. Prayers are out there. But I say that to say to just understand, again, the urgency of us taking care of ourselves. You know, really protecting ourselves, taking advantage of the opportunity, understanding what's at our fingertips. When you understand all that we've been given, and it's really more of a tribe. Really, it's really a matter of just really how far. I look at our business plan and our plan, and I look at the global landscaping economically. And I say this consistently. I know you guys have heard a lot of my cliches, but I say this consistently. To those that think small, the world is really big. And to those that think big, the world is really small. So you have to establish, how big do you want your life to be? How big do you want your world to be? How big do you want your bank account to be? And that comes down to how big you want your personality to be. So I'm going somewhere with this. How big is your personality? So when I share that, I share the access, which we all have, of the power of choice, of how much are you investing in yourself? I mean, really to become, and I'm not just talking about education, books, downloads, iPods. I'm not just talking about reading. All that is part of that. That should be like, to be an entrepreneur, to be a business person, that should be like putting on your socks and cleats to play football, right? That should be mandatory. We all know if you put $10,000 hours into anything, you become a master at that skill set. But the question is, do you really count the hours? Are you really putting in the time? Are you calculating and looking, engaging? You know what? There's only 24 hours in a day. So, I mean, if you put 3 hours a day into your business, you know that right there is 15 hours times 4 weeks is 60 hours, times 10 months, that's 600 hours. So, I mean, you can do that over the course of however much time you want to do that. If we're talking about 10,000 hours, I mean, 600, you got 10 years to go. Is this making sense? You guys follow what I'm talking about? I'm talking about truly, if you master the skill set to speak a language, if you master the skill set to be able to build your business, if you master the skill set to become, to get your posture together, it's like literally, and again, when you become that person that is a professional, then it's like a waiter. Back to your first year in network marketing, which each of you should have at least 5 of those books on your shelf to be able to give to new people coming into your business. If you can count how many people you actually serve water to in any given day as a waiter or waitress, then you didn't really work that day. Because your job is to constantly be serving water or to constantly offer everybody something to drink when they sit down. So if you're actually living, and I'm not talking about working the business, I'm not talking about peaking and customers, I'm talking about just the connection, the human connection of people. And then the mastery of a follow-up. So you have the connection. Many of you guys are good at connecting, but how do you follow up with your people? I'm curious to know. I mean, I wish it was interactive and we could have a lot more conversation. I'm curious to know, how do you actually follow up? Like, I just came from a conference with my partner, and we're sitting up there, and she's making contacts, I'm making contacts, and many others are making contacts. And I'm actually spending the next 2 days. That conference ended a couple of days ago, last weekend. I'm at a new one. But I'm actually sending each person a video of how impactful it was to meet them personally. And I have well in excess of 50 cards. As opposed to just sending them a text, it was nice to meet you. How much time are you putting into, write this down, being an impact player? I talk about, to win, you have to become a mental tattoo. A mental tattoo. So you want to become that person that you're, it's impossible to forget you and a blessing to know you. I'm going to say that again because some people, it's impossible to forget them for the wrong reasons. So you have to become that person that is impossible, completely impossible to forget, but a blessing to know. And so you got to also understand, on everybody's forehead, everybody walks around with this big sign saying, I want to be acknowledged. Every one of us walk around with a sign on our head saying, I want to be important. I would like to be significant. I like to be remembered. I mean, how good is it when people actually have a heart, I call it a heartstring connection with you, which took nothing more than just doing a little bit more than the average person of meeting and greeting a person and having a smile. But you went the extra mile to make sure that that person was important to you. Is everybody getting this? Just nod your head, it's just making sense, right? A lot of times we wake, I got a text from Terry. Terry's online today. It made me so happy to get her text. Yes, Terry Lynn, I got your message. Just to know that when you start to understand the sensitivity of life, forgive the sirens, is probably coming from my partners over here that just spoke. Stick with me. I don't know why they need a siren. They're on a campus. There's a fire truck. They want to be important. They have the siren on. They want everybody to know we're here. Like somebody can't see this big red truck. But the part of this, and what I want you guys to get more than anything else, is just to be able to just take the time when you start to really understand life at the level that many of you and I have, of how sensitive it can be. You start to treasure more just the human connectivity of taking up the space in somebody else's brain enough to think about you. Does that make sense? You guys follow me on that so far? So if you reached out to people, as I use Terry as an example, for example, for the people that you currently know, and just, and this is really important. It may not sound like it, but it's huge. To reach out to 3, start with 2, because it's a muscle. You're going to have to develop it. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it's going to be very important for you to do so. To reach out to 2, I would ultimately like to get to a minimum of 5, potentially 10 if you have downtime. But creating a muscle where you're connecting with people daily that you haven't talked to for a week, a month, a year, 5 years. Anybody that's over 30 years old on this call, you have plenty of people that just out of the realm of just reaching out to them and saying, I don't want nothing from you. I don't need nothing from you. I'm not reaching out for any agenda, but to tell you, you've been on my brain, or I love you, or I'm thinking about you. Do you know how far that goes to people who haven't heard from you in ages? So people are always talking about, I don't know where to get any more customers. I don't know where to get my prospects. That's because you got to understand, in order to have a tree that's going to bear fruit, you have to plant the seed. You got to water the seed. You got to fertilize the seed. It has to get the sunlight. It has to get the attention. It's a spiritual thing for me. It's like, don't pray to God, your God, whoever your God is. I'm not praying to God, Jesus, my God, just when I need things. You need to create a muscle where you stand in the gratitude when things are not bad, so that when things are bad, it shows up for you. I have a jealous God. I don't know about y'all, but my dad is jealous. I call him daddy. Daddy is jealous. He's like, you giving attention to all these other things, trying to get attention, trying to get acknowledged, trying to be in a position, trying to get this money, but you only come to me when you got a problem. Now I have a son. If my son only came to me when he has a problem, then we got a problem. I hope somebody's getting this message. I'm just on one right now. Because it's really critical for us to understand that people don't care what you know unless they know that you care. I'm going to say that again. People don't care what you know unless they know that you care. Now, I'm sitting next to someone who I'm mentoring right now. Oh, let me get this crevice right here where the wind isn't blowing. And I share with her, because she's sitting up there saying, I'm not getting paid. I don't know how to monetize what I'm doing. I said, it's very simple. Beyond the mechanics of being able to get the right platform, the right, funnel, the right website and all that, I said, I need you to write this down. I want each one of you to write this down because you've heard it before, but do you actually live it is the question. And here it goes. Be more interested than interesting. Be more interested than interesting. See, everybody's out there selling something. They're out there trying to get everybody's business or trying to get friends or trying to get dates, whatever they're doing. Everybody's out there, they're a salesperson. Anybody who says they don't like sales is a liar. They sold something. I don't care if it's filling out an application to get into a college, filling out an application to get a job, filling out an application for this, for credit. You're selling something. Filling out an application to get you a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. You're selling something. Everybody is a salesperson. Let's just get that out of the way. Because you guys have all heard somebody say, you know what? What do you do? Network marketing? I'm not a salesperson. Liar. Tell them that. Yell at them. You're a freaking liar. Just ask them, where do you work at right now? Did you fill out an application? What bank do you go to? Did you fill out an application? Now, whether you were qualified for the loan or whether you were qualified for the credit card or whether you were qualified for the man or woman you applied for, that's a whole nother conversation. But don't come to me and tell me you don't like sales. Tell me that you aren't qualified, because if you're qualified, you have no problem marketing it. You got people marketing every day, whether it's a church or whether it's a streetwalker. Are y'all with me on that? Nod your head if y'all understand what I'm saying. Let me tell you something. Every time a woman gets out of bed and puts on makeup, you're a salesperson. Just so we're clear. Whether you got lipstick or eyeshadow, whether you get your hair done or whether you get it weaved, you are a salesperson. Every time a man steps out, he already knows he's selling something. His services, his skill set, who he is. So once we can bypass this conversation and we can get into the real of what's going on, then we can get to the heart of the matter. Because for me, it's really, you got to understand. I just posted some stuff on my page. It's like every setback is a setup to come back 10 times stronger. And I'm going to tell you something else, which is really the craziest thing because of the vortex, the decisions I've made, and the mistakes I've made. I wouldn't trade them for the world. Now, is it comfortable? Hell no. The financial mistakes I made? Heck no. The people, the mistakes I made? No. We've all made some big mistakes, yes or yes. And I don't care how successful you are, the bigger your success, the bigger your problems, and the bigger the mistakes you're going to make in the journey up. Just so you're used to it. So if you're scared of failing, you're already failing. I'm going to say that again. You can write that down. If you're scared of failing, you're already failing. Now, I don't know what anybody's situation on here is, but I'm going to tell you, I don't enjoy the pain of the mistakes I've made, but I enjoy the process. Because the process puts you in a state of critical thinking because you don't want to go backwards in life. So, it's inevitable. It's kind of like a riptide in the ocean. The water is going to ebb and flow. Are y'all with me on that so far? A stock is going to go up and down. It's going to hit its hits. But once you hit a certain mark, here's what you got to understand. And you've been set back. You know what is already possible, so you don't have to worry about whether you can get back up to sea level. You got to figure out how you're going to get to a higher level. Are y'all following me? Yes or yes? Nod your head. Okay? You should be creating a plan. When you're step back and you don't know where stuff is coming from, this comes from my early teachings. You make a decision and the how-to comes. You don't figure out the how-to and then make a decision. You make a decision and the how-to comes. I made a decision early in this year. I have no idea how I'm going to hit 10 figures this year. We're in August. We're on the eclipsing of doing a solid 8 figures this year that we can see. Me and my partner, we can see 8 figures easy, really right on the brink of 9. My goal is 10 figures. And even my topic, which is coming out in my book, by the way, all you guys will have one. Everybody in my family gets a book. December, it will be done. But one of my chapters is actually 7 figures is the new broke. 7 figures is the new broke. All you got to do is go back 5 or 6 years and understand that a $400,000 house today is worth over $1 million. All you have to do is go back and understand less than 7 months ago, the interest rates on homes was 2%, and now it's at 6%. All you have to understand is we're on the bubble and the cusp of every marketplace busting. We've had the lowest on an entire global scale, the lowest unemployment that we've had since 1950. And the money they've been printing through this COVID time, they printed more money in the last through 2 to 3 years than they have in the last 100. So much money that they've given away that people still, because they haven't understood the discipline behind money, how to utilize it, how to leverage it, how to build residual income, how to compound their money. They don't have a business plan, a will, or trust. Because of that, as quickly as they gave it to them, it's going to be taken away. They gave away so much money, people wouldn't even go back to work because they were making more at home than they were working a job. So how many signs do you need for a catastrophe? That's a recipe for massive disaster. All you got to do is look at the gas prices of what they did there. Is anybody receiving this message this morning? It's just flowing. I'm sorry. It's just don't blame me. I'm going to tell it's the Holy Ghost. It's really just somebody needs to get the message. But what I'm sharing with you is to understand where we are in life right now so that you can actually understand I was in a very dark place. I made a lot of mistakes. No, I don't make a lot of mistakes, but the ones I make, they're massive. They are massive. And I'm okay with it because the seeds I've sown and the people that I know and the people that I love that love me back, just like our Father, like I'll call Daddy, He gives us grace. Now, if you didn't sow enough seeds and you didn't feed enough people and you didn't help enough people, then you might be in a dark place of something that's even worse than what I have seen in life because you have no protection. To the people you sow seed in, they're either going to be your protection or turn their back on you because you can't keep calling whoop or keep making mistakes and not take up, because nobody's going to be mad because you're a liar, because they're going to say that's what liars do. It's, Ryan Tracy talks about it. Jim Rohn talks about it. Why do liars lie? I remember Mr. Jim Rohn, because that's what liars do. They lie. Why do cheaters cheat? Because that's what cheaters do. And some people don't understand this is a muscle. Cheating is a muscle. Lying is a muscle. Failure is a muscle. Success is a muscle. And here's the thing. When it comes to building muscle, Julian will tell you this, and many other people that have been in the gym. I see a few of y'all, David, a few of y'all get in the gym with me. Those that have been, I see you, fam. Those that have been going to the gym, it's going to create stretch marks. Women, you understand that for those that have children. Society will make you think that stretch marks are bad. You aren't cute. It's not the glorified picture they have on the camera. Let me tell you something. Stretch marks are your trophies. Stretch marks means you went through pain and you gave birth to something that's amazing. Are y'all following me on that so far? I'm being serious. When you understand the dream, when you understand your dream, it's going to create stretch marks, y'all. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. You're going to have to go through so many different emotional stages in carrying that child. You're going to eat stuff you haven't eaten before. You're going to have to change things you haven't changed before. You're going to have a different sleep pattern. It's going to keep you up late at night. It's going to be... You're trying to call me. I know. Somebody called me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So, trying to be like Sam. Grew up to be like Sam. You get all kinds of calls coming in. You don't even know who they are. People be calling you. Who are you? Why are you calling me? You met me 3 months ago. Okay, so the whole thing about this is positioning yourself. Write this down. I need to position myself for success. I don't know who this is reaching, but if God lets me reach 2 people that take this call, take this moment, take this impact of a message, not judging or having any conversation about the messenger, but just get the message that today is the day my whole life needs to change. Today is the day I need a complete paradigm in my life. Today is the day that I'm only gifted and only promised in this moment, that everything that I do today will guarantee where I will be in 2023. Because what we do know about 2023, it's coming fast, quick, and in a hurry. What we do know is we do not want to be in the same position that we are in 2023 that we are in 22. We don't want to have to worry about politics. We don't want to have to worry about COVID. We don't want to have to worry about a job. We don't want to have to worry about a bank account. We don't want to have to worry about our health. We don't want to have to worry about our peace of mind. We don't want to have to worry about our joy. We don't want to have to worry about having fun. We don't want to have to worry about when we wake up. We don't want to have to worry about who's going to take care of all the things that I don't want to. Why do we want people to keep jobs, to do the things that we don't want to do? So we need another sector. We need all 90% of those people to keep their jobs so they can do what we don't want to do. That's why we want to be so abundant, not to be rich, not to flex, not to floss, but to live a peaceful life. You don't have time to cut your yard. Why? Because you can be so much more productive. You don't have time to wash your car by hand unless you collect classics like I'm doing, because you got places to be. I'm almost at the point, I'm right at the precipice, but I do love to drive. I hate traffic. But I promise you on everything I love, 50% of my life right now, if the drive is longer than 45 minutes, I'm not driving myself. That's why they got drivers. People are like, oh my God, it's an hour and 10 minutes. That's going to cost me $100. Let me tell you, to get from my airport to my hotel here in New York, it costs like $200 plus. Do you know how much sleep I can get in an hour and a half? Do you know how much work, how many phone calls I can make, how much contact? You should be able to take an hour, hour and a half, and know that you're worth a minimum of $500 an hour. Did anybody catch that conversation? Here's the secret. You got to understand something. It's just like beauty. I'm gorgeous. You know who it matters to? Just me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. You need to learn how to live unapologetically. Stop trying to change you and change what's inside of you. Change your mind, your heart, your thinking, and your spirit, creating a river of reciprocity, and solutions will show up. Are y'all with me? Y'all still with me? I'm still in the sermon. Okay. So what I'm telling you is when you start unapologetically looking at yourself and knowing I'm worth at least 7 figures. I mean, that's my base. My base, I'm worth at least 7 figures. I'm the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen and getting better every day. I deserve my time to be able to wake up when I finish sleeping. I deserve my time to pray not have to ask permission to leave my office and my desk and my cubicle to go pray. I deserve my time to be able to fly wherever I want to, first class, commercial, or on a private plane. And I promise you, this all comes from storyboarding. This starts with your vision board. This starts with your meditation. This starts with your thinking. Everything that I've ever wanted in my life, I promise you, I've gotten. Here's the secret behind getting everything that you want. Hopefully you guys are listening. You just don't get it when you want it. The body you want, it's going to take a lot of work, but you aren't going to get it without putting in the work. That's the one thing I will pride myself on. When I finally get off my back and I've fallen down, when I've screwed up, I am so prepared right now to work harder than I've ever worked in my life over the next 6 months, because I refuse to be set back, because people trusted me, people loved me, and I am working for them. But mistakes, death, and things that happen will take you down a vortex. And when things happen and you're set back, you got to respect. See, here's the thing. You know the people that don't do what they need to do, what they were born to do, what they were birthed to do? When you don't have responsibilities for other people, you know the people not working the business the way they need to work it because they don't have anybody responsible. They think they're playing the safe game. See, if you got 5 people on your team, you got 5 people counting on you that believed in you. If you got 50, you got more work to do. I got too many people that believe in me to afford. I can't afford not to let myself down, to let them down. So I got to figure out. So I don't know where everybody's in a different place in life. So this might be for a new person on the call or older person. Many of you I know. But I want you to understand this conversation. When you don't have people counting on you, that means you're dying. Because you have nothing of significance to work for. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. Whether it's children, a team, a squad, you have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. And when you're doing what you need to do, people know it. You'll get grace. You'll get favor. You'll get everything that you need. You'll get space. You'll get time. You'll get understanding, comprehension. And it will relieve you of all that stress. Whatever the stress is in your life, here's what I do know. Here's a gold nugget. Write it down. What time is it? I want to make sure I'm on target. Okay. Oh, man, I'm doing good. So here's the thing. Focus on what you have control over and learn how to let go of everything you don't. It's the hardest thing to do. It is the hardest thing to do. Focus, and you may need to take a checklist. You may need to make a checklist of the things that I have control over. Because it's like going into the grocery store. Are you guys with me? If you go into the grocery store without a list and you have 5 things to get, you will walk out with 20. I walked into a grocery store to pick up 5 things, walked out with 20, and forgot 2 of the things I went in for. That's the craziest thing on the planet. How did you only go in for 5 things, walk out with 20, and the thing you needed most, you still forgot 2? Because if you don't itemize it, if you don't make a link, if you don't understand the energy, the inertia, the power to do that, you have to have the fortitude, the mind, and the heart to position yourself for success. It's real simple. And you got to have a squad. You got to have a Gotti crew. So while you're working on yourself, you're interviewing people. You need to interview, like us. We sat down with this sister. She's amazing at what she does. Amazing at what she does. And we went out to have a drink last night after everything was over. And she sat there and she talked. And she was talking with this new sister about what she does, and their paths are very parallel. Of course, the sister I'm mentoring, she's way up here. And the other sister, she's newbie to the game. And after it's all said and done, we caught the same car over here to the event today. And she said, Mr. Byron, tell me your real take on this, sister. I said, tell you my take on it. I said, what are you talking about? She said, tell me your take on this, sister. I said, she's fresh. She's scared. She's new. Just like we all have when we started our business. Are you with me on that so far? But she has great potential and she's moving in the right direction. She said, I just have a pet peeve with, I was trying to figure out what her pet peeve was. Her pet peeve with, I don't want to say people that are advanced, people that are closed or people that are not as open. The receptors aren't there. They're, and we know people in our business like that. They toggle. They're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I said, your glasses, I wear glasses. You don't even wear glasses and you're looking through the wrong lens. I said, how are you focused on this person? That's not your focus. You got the wrong lenses on. Your vision is off. So write this down. Vision stands for Vision Inspires Success in Others Now. Vision inspires success in others now. That's what vision stands for. So when you have a perspective and your lens is off, you're actually coming up short because you aren't maximizing your own human equity. You aren't maximizing your own human potential because you're too focused on the wrong thing. You're looking at the wrong things. Are you guys getting me on that so far? If you are not seeing your comma move, here's what I know. Your income needs to grow 6 figures every year or you didn't grow. Say that again. Your income needs to grow. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It may take y'all 5 years, 3 years, 6 years. I don't know what's going to take you. But it's easier to get from 6 figures to 7 figures than it is to get from 50,000 to 6 figures. So that's where your growth is. That's not making somebody wrong. Are y'all with me on that so far? It's easier to get to 100 million than it is to get to 1 million. Because now you have the freedom. It's a flow. The Euphrates is the most powerful river on the planet. That's why you have diversified streams of income. That's why you have diversified streams coming into Euphrates. See, the Dead Sea, everything goes one way and dies. Everything is a one-way street. When you only live on a one-way street, you can't get out unless you make a U-turn and go back to where you came from. Yes or yes? Is this making sense? Now, you made a decision to get into this Euphrates, which is this lane of business, this diversified way of doing business. Why would you keep going back to your old neighborhood? Why would you keep going back to your old way of thinking? Why would you keep going back to your old way of doing things? Why wouldn't you create a new plan and plot something new in your GPS to get to a new destination? See, you're missing out on your destiny, your blessings, and all your gifts because you're going the wrong. You only want to live in the street. Watch, stay. Watch, watch this. You only want to stay in the city of familiarity. You have to get out of that city of familiarity and get into a city that you've never been to before. You cannot expose yourself to new money if you don't expose yourself to new things. And back to the gym, it's going to be uncomfortable. You need to figure out how to make yourself uncomfortable. You know when I have the best conversations when I'm talking to myself and hoping somebody else catches something that God didn't put in my heart. You need to make yourself uncomfortable to get to the next level because on every new level, there's a new devil. So what we're talking about here is, and what I'm pouring into somebody on here is today is your birthday. No, not the day you came into this world, the day that you decided to birth yourself into a new you. You are never too old, too young, too white, too black to create a new you. You're still here. We are not here for a long time. So you need to make the time that you're here count. That's all there is to it. Clyde, you gone? I'll see you this evening. Really? I hope so too. He had a cardiac? He had a heart attack? We don't know what happened. Prayers. Anyway, are you guys with me in understanding this? Don't know he's gonna make it. Here's the thing. We all have, including me, we all have an expiration date. We're like milk. Now, obviously, the better you take care of it, the more refrigerated, the healthier you live, the better you live. But there are no guarantees. I've seen the craziest thing in the last 4 weeks of my being here on this planet. And I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys, some of you guys might be too young to remember, in school, they used to play a program called Scared Straight. And it would keep youth. You saw that, Sam? It would keep us out. It scared me straight just seeing it. I'm not going to jail. I'm not. I can't make it in jail. I'm not built for it. It's just not going to happen. But I saw that Scared Straight, and I promise you, every time I ever thought about doing something crazy, I did do some crazy things in college because I was a little klepto, not from people, but from stores. And I got over that real quick when I saw Scared Straight again. But they should have one. I'm actually, while I'm talking to you, I'm coming up with these brain ideas, right? I want to create a documentary called Scared Broke. They should actually create, I think I might do that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, God. A docuseries called Scared Broke, of what happens when you don't take advantage of opportunity. Do you think that everybody you've ever seen that was homeless, when they were a child, they could see the future, that's what they wanted, that's what their promise was? It's not just the drunkards or the people that came. Vietnam is over, y'all. World War II is over. There is no more wars that is fought really on the ground unless you go in to help another country right now. It's not like it was when our parents were here. Our wars are now fought in the air and by the push of a button. It's all digital. So you aren't going to have a whole lot of people going through, PTS or all this today. Generally speaking, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it existed for the whole versus a small percentage today. Are you guys with me on that so far? And you're talking about, even if we just go back as early as 2008, there are some people that were living an extraordinary life that today are homeless. The circumstances, the economic landscape, the movement of time, the digital era we live in, the way we do business, I mean, just utilizing, understanding, and I see it with, we used to rent videotapes. We used to rent videotapes. There used to be one of those stores on every corner, like a McDonald's, like a Starbucks. Poof. They don't exist. If you don't, why is it? I'm sorry. Are y'all with me? Y'all want me to keep going? Y'all want me to keep going? Want to keep going? Check this out. Every one of you should, I'm going to say 98% of you do, because some of y'all I'm not going to call you stupid, just stuck on stupid, doing some stupid stuff. But 98% of y'all have car insurance. I would venture everybody in this family has car insurance. I would say even 100% has car insurance. Because we understand that it's illegal to drive without car insurance. Why is it that people don't have life insurance? I'm going to tell you why people don't have life insurance. Because the system has to set you up for failure so they can take your property. The system has to set you up for failure. The system should have it set up where it's illegal to live without life insurance. That should be the system. It should be illegal to be alive without life insurance, because your life is more important than a car, because you can live without a car. But they understand that people are going to be irresponsible. They understand that they're going to die at a discount. They understand that they're going to take everything from you. They understand the probate system. They understand how to be able to hold your money and your accounts frozen and how the government's see, when we first came over here, and when I say we, it wasn't me, it wasn't black people. I'm just saying we as a human race, when we first came over here for those that are over here, because I know we got people on here from all around the world, but I'm just going to use the US or the Western Hemisphere. When we first came over here as a human race, I'm just going to use that generally, right? It was gangster. It was straight up gangsters. The Italians, gangsters. The Irish, gangsters. Everybody came over here, Jews, gangsters. They get gangstered up. Straight up. I mean, I'm talking about worse than the Pirates and the Crips. Just straight up gangsters, just taking over territories. What they did to our Indians, tragedy. What they did to, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, tragedy. I could go down all our histories. Are y'all with me on that so far? There was gangsters. And then there were people that were victimized. But only the strong survive. So either you became a gangster or you became a victim. Do you think anything changes in time? No. There's evolution of technology, but when it comes to the human race and the greed and the capitalism, no. An old man once sat in front of me when I was in front of a room, and he said, "Yeah, look, young buck, I understand this residual income. I understand these customers and telecom and all you're talking about. I understand that." And he said, it's like one of those old school. Some of y'all know that old twang. Look, young man, I was here before you were here. I was here when the sun came up and the sun came down. You ain't putting none on my eyes. I don't know what this is. Is it a pyramid? You trying to, I hadn't seen these things before, this, that, and the other. And I sat there and I'm always respectful. And I said, "I understand, sir." I said, "I just have two perspectives to share with you because you asked mine. If you had a plumbing problem and you didn't know how to fix it, and I was 22 and you were 65, but I spent the last 12 years with my father since I was 10 fixing plumbing problems, and your water is all on the floor flooding. Would you be having a conversation with me about how to fix your plumbing and how much you've been here before me and after me?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, I've spent the last 12 years building residual income at this point, since I was in my 20s. And I don't know as much as you know. In fact, I don't know much. But I do know I retired by 30. And what I will tell you, because I had an audience, you guys know I'm going to draw an audience wherever I go. So I said, and you aren't going to disrespect or de-edify me in front of an audience with your wise ignorance. So as I sat there, I said, it's kind of interesting what you use as a metaphor. He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You said, well, when the sun comes up and goes down." I've learned in the short time I've been on this planet, the sun never goes up or goes down. I said, "It's my understanding that our Earth actually orbits the sun, and we go up and we go down." So there are just a few things that I may know that you might accept that you may not know, and there's a lot that you know that I don't know. But what I do know is residual income. What I do know is that Jesus had 12 people on his team and one betrayed him. I only need 11. If I'm learning from history, I don't need the 12. I just prefer to forego that. So in this lesson this morning, what time is it? 12:49. In my last 6 minutes, you guys getting this. Normally, I like to do 30 minutes. Has this been helpful, though? Just nod your head if this is good. Are y'all with me on that? See, when Mr. Al Thomas is on the plane, I can go a little bit longer, and I can pour into you a little bit longer without him looking at me sideways. But I love Mr. Al Thomas. But what I do want you guys to get more than anything else, you will never find, I say this no matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter where I'm going to show up in the rest of my life. What this institution and this university that we're in has created is a support system and a love, an undying love and support and respect for each other beyond anything we've ever seen. And if you utilize it and you leverage it to its highest ability, there are things that we can do as a family that are so beyond measure, that are so next level. So what you have to learn how to do, I want you to write these 3 things down. Excellence, collaboration, and human equity. The human equity, and we're working backwards. Human equity, how much am I pouring into myself to become extraordinary? I want to finish like a clock. I like to start where I finish. No matter where I talk, I always come back to the original point. And the point is, how valuable are you to population, to the human race? How much are you in your personality? It was amazing. The event I was in Houston last week, I went to Starbucks. There was a line every time, long line. And I have unconsciously built a muscle to impact anybody I meet. 5 people working there. This one guy, he kept saying, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Nelson. Like, I didn't see him for like 2 days. I went back and he said, Mr. Nelson, what can I get for you? It's like, I just stuck with me. And I want you guys to create that unconditional muscle that no matter who you meet, they never forget you. That's how you create what I'm actually going to be teaching in Toronto in a couple of weeks. I call it the waiting room. Every one of you need the waiting room. If you got people in New York, I'm going to be speaking for Renata out here next Wednesday, and they're taking me to a dinner on Thursday. If you got anybody on the East Coast, anybody out here, you need to get them to me. My job is to make you money while you're in bed. Human equity. How much am I developing my personality? You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be colorful, but you do have to be interesting to yourself. Do you understand? You guys get what I'm saying? Don't ever try and be somebody else because there's only one of you. You don't want to be somebody else. I'm telling you, think about the things that make you who you are, that you love about yourself. So when you pour into your personality, it could be stats, statistics, it could be jokes, laughter, it could be just making people smile, it could be how you make someone feel, how you actually train, how you develop, whatever makes you the bomb.com. There's something about you that you love. You couldn't be on this call without something that you love about yourself. You guys with me on that so far? I'm gonna give you an example. I want you to get this because I've said this story before. The Chinese were interviewed after winning 9 out of 11 years of the Olympics, a gold medal in table tennis. They were interviewed by an American journalist, and the journalist was like, what do you guys do that you are doing differently than everybody else? And he said, we do this. He said, so do we. You do this. So do we. You do this. So do we. You do this. So do we. He said, the problem in the US is that you actually have kids that got 4 A's, a B, and a D. And the parent wants to focus in on the D. We have a child that got 4 A's, a B, and a D. We only focus on the A's. So the journalist said, okay, so let's just say that is the case. And he has a D in his backhand, but everything else is good. How do you handle when he gets it hit to his backhand? And the coach looked at him in the interview and said, if he has an A in the serve, what makes you think it's ever going to make it to his backhand? And now you want to know how we won 9 out of 11 years. We focus in on the strengths of individuals. So I'm not going to tell you you're bad at prospecting and say, let's work there, or you're bad at getting customers. Now, these are some basic things that will come with you working on your strengths. They will just fall in your lap. So I really want you to focus on this, and I hope this resonates when you get off this call, that this call doesn't just end, and you said it was a great call. It's being recorded. You probably need to listen to it at least 2 or 3 times. What is your strength that you can make so exceptional that see, and I was, again, another example, I have to really hit this and drive this home with a nail through like a devil's heart.
There's 455 players in the NBA. During the time that Kobe played, 455. During the time that Michael Jordan played, 455. During the time that LeBron played, 455. That Steph Curry played, 455. A lot of people will be like, they're so talented. There's Air Jordan. Look at what Steph Curry is doing. Look at what Kobe did. We could go down all the names. But you got to understand, during the time that each person played all through history, there was at least 30 to 40 people that were better than them in the game. Like, hold it, better than Jordan? Yes. Better than Kobe? Yes. Better than Steph? Yes. Impossible? No. What was impossible, what they created as an impossibility, is that because see, you don't get to the NBA, I'm just using, or hockey for those in Canada, or football, or any of these, without having the most extraordinary talent. But all 455 people, 55 people have talent. These individuals put more work into their talent than anybody else. And because of that, they got paid more than anybody else. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you, you're anointed with a talent that nobody has. If you don't know what it is, you need to find it. You need to find it. It comes seamlessly. It's like air. It's magical. Because like for me, when I'm not transforming lives, when I'm not speaking to an audience, 1 or 1 million, when I am not creatively using my resources to make life better for somebody else, it's like Whitney singing or a bird flying. I'm dying. I have to have the audience. Now, I prefer to have just a handful of those individuals, but to watch somebody go from 20 years old to work $20 million by 28, or another kid in 2.5 years go to $8 million a month, or, and this money has nothing to do with our business. I'm just sharing the people that I've mentally trained and what I'm doing now outside of my realm of the business. It's air to me. Why my fit for this for the last 28 years, I mean, I started in 1995, is because I'm able to talk to you, that I can actually turn on a light in 1 or 2 of you, that 5 years from now, you will be singing for the rest of your life. I heard one conversation from this tall, bald, black man named Byron Nelson. Yeah, you're going to say, do you know Byron Nelson? I was like, I don't know, it sounds familiar. You can't meet me and say it sounds familiar. You either met me or you didn't meet me. And I don't have to be that one thing. You will be mentored and trained by 100 or 5 or 10 other people. But it's one thing that I said that God put in my spirit. I don't even take credit for it. That clicked for you. And you're like, I heard this one thing and it just changed everything in my life. What is that anointing within you that makes life different? Are you guys with me on that so far? You have it. People will pay millions for it. People will stand in line for it. You've been playing too small. Know your self-worth. Know what you're about. Know where you're going. You are not, Colonel Sanders waited to the days. Your chapter, your day is coming that will change life for millions of people when you're gone. But you have to live it as if each day was your last day. That's where the human equity is. So long as I can get up, so long as I can look up, I can get up. Les says it all the time. I can look up, I can get up. If you get up, then maximize who you are as a human being. Don't waste 1 ounce of time, minute, energy. Yes, you're gonna fall. I did. Just 2-3 weeks ago, I fell hard and it hurt. Oh, it hurt. It hurt so bad that it's still hurting. But guess what? I wouldn't wish for any other sores. I wouldn't wish for any other pain or any other breaks. I need that in order to know what not to do, so I can be resilient, in order to know how to avoid certain pitfalls, how to become that much more resilient. So you guys with me on that so far? That makes sense on that side of the human equity? That's called, hey, sweetie, how are you? That's called creating, you're creating a waiting, the chapter is called Waiting Room. every one of us needs a waiting room that you put in the next 3 to 5 years with such diligence, with such sweat equity, that for the next 15 after that, people are waiting for you. You need a waiting room. I called him and he didn't get back to me. I called David. I called, T, and Miss Hank, she didn't get back to me. I'll just move on. No, you are so valuable. You're like, I will wait forever for her or for him. There is no title, no company, no name that they're looking for. They're looking for you. I have people looking for me. Wherever I go, they go. Whatever I do, they do. Because of the credibility, the trust, the commitment, the transparency of failure, the authenticity when I screw up. That there's nobody, no debt on this planet, God willing, as long as I'm alive, that wherever I've had debt, I pay back tenfold. The gifts, the love, the abundance, the prosperity, the waiting room. Nobody's going to get angry at you when you have all that in place. The transparency, the authenticity, the trust, the love, the communication. And they know you'll make up for whatever you screw up on. Now, it's not going to feel good to them or you, but they'll know you're worth it because they'll know what you're up to. They don't have to look for you. They don't have to figure you out. That's working backwards from human equity. If you go to the next one, which is excellence, you need to have a state of excellence. Whenever I show up with the way that I dress, the way I carry myself, the way I speak, my personality, everything about me has to show up in a state of excellence. That if I was not visual, if we were not on a video, or if we were not on a camera, or if I was not on stage here, nobody would be able to tell based on my work, whether I was white, Black, Puerto Rican, Asian, Mexican, Persian, Jewish, because my excellence screams so loud and puts me in such a high frequency of the 1 percentiles on the planet. You're like, all I know is I need to be on his team. All I know is I need, and you don't have to force it. You don't have to trust me. I'm here. I saw some of the people here at the event I was at in Houston, and everybody was so busy in Houston that we didn't get a chance to see each other's work. But here, everybody's seeing the work, and I got off, and it's like people running up like, oh my God, we got to do stuff together. We need to, here's my card, here's my number. How long are you going to be here? What are you doing? Because I'm not focused on anybody other than my excellence. If you keep doing excellence, they're going to find you. It's like, hey, I got an event coming up. Will you speak at that? I have a church. Would you speak at my church? When we start feeding off of that in the state of excellence, they will pay you. Listen to this. Listen, Linda. Listen. Do more than you're paid for, and in time you'll get paid more than you ever did. You can write that down and remember it. Do more than you were ever paid for. And in time, they will pay you more than you were ever worth. That would be Prince, Michael Jackson, doesn't matter who it is. You could be whoever you want and be bigger than both Prince and Michael Jackson combined and not even have to sing a note. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Yes? Last but not least, here's where we wrap up at. And that is collaboration. The most powerful word in our business, applied properly, is called edification. If you know somebody who does real estate, you should actually start feeding them business. If you know somebody who's a speaker like me, you should look at events and say, hey, you need to have this person at your event. When you just take, my number is 7, right? My ultimate number is 7. My inter is 7. I'm on a seek and construct. Notice I didn't say seek and destroy. I said seek and construct mission of 7 people that my name comes out of their mouth as much as their children's names. And I live in what I call, write this down, it's called the river of reciprocity. That they understand how large God is making me and will continue, and how I will be the largest thing since sliced bread. Wonder will wonder who the hell I am. I already know who I'm supposed to be. I already know that I'm across. Roz, you good? Roz, is everything okay? Can you give me an update? I'll meet you over there. I'm almost done. Okay, love. So I already know that I'm not saying that for adoration. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm not saying that to wow you guys. You guys are my family. See, family doesn't care if you're in the alley or if you're sitting in a penthouse. Are y'all with me on that so far? So you guys are my family. This has been my family in my home for years, for 3 decades now. So I'm just being transparent with you. I am Gandhi and Martin Luther King cross-pollinated. I do that unapologetically. I'm not looking for anybody's affirmation or acknowledgement of that. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know whose kingdom I build. And in knowing that, I don't have to go looking for my tribe. He brings me my tribe and tells me to do his work. If I do his bidding and his work, then the right people will be attracted to me and they find me. See, that's the beautiful thing about this family. I don't care whose downline you're in. That's the only reason I do this call for Mr. Al Thomas, is because we have the same DNA of helping anybody who wants to be helped. Because those people will find me. Tammy finds me, Sam finds me. If a person doesn't find me, then they weren't for me. Lance finds me, Terry finds me, Julian finds me, Kavork, hey, I didn't even know you're on here. Kavork finds me, I'm on my phone. My family finds me. Dwayne finds me, his mother finds me. His mother prays for me and she's not even in the business more than anybody else on the planet. The right people find me. I don't have to look for the people. You want to become so valuable that they look for you. I'm looking for you, looking for me, looking for you. If a person's not looking for me, I'm not looking for them. Now, there are people that I've had a love affair with mentally and spiritually that I wish would look for me, but I don't have time to look for them when I have a whole tribe in which I'm shepherding. Because if I leave my shepherding to go help one lamb or one sheep for whatever they're going through, I will get back to the talents. God will take what he gave me, the one who buried it and did nothing with it. I will be cursed because I'm now irresponsible to what I'm here for. Nod your head. We passed, by the way. If y'all got to go, we're done. You can leave. This is just the Holy Spirit just having his fun with me right now, just dancing in my head. You don't understand what I just said? Go read the chapter of Matthew 25. Then go read Luke 15. Then if you want to change your life, go read the whole book of Proverbs. Starting with chapter 1, there's 31 chapters. Then I'll give you a library. Because when you're rich in your spirit and your soul, who can be against you? You don't need a whole lot of people. You have to become that person of human equity, of excellence, and of collaboration. And you have to sow seed before you look for fruit. Oh, Jesus, you better write that down. Just letting you know. I'm just saying. You have to sow seed before you look for fruit. I'm just saying, if you want to harvest, you're going to have to go get dirty. You're going to have to get up early before the bird crows, before the chicken hollers, you're going to have to get up early and you have to stay up late and prepare for the next day. And this is going to go on for a whole season and nobody knows how long. I don't know. You're doing something wrong because it doesn't take a lifetime. It just takes about 3 or 4 years of it's a season of work. And then you can just feed everybody in your house, everybody you love. But you have to sow seed. You want those relationships? Let somebody know. You guys heard, you know the adage. You are the 5 people that you surround yourself. Who are the 5 people? Find you 5 new people. If you aren't where you need to be, let somebody know. I want to be one of your 5, 7, 12. How many you need? Because I know what you're doing. I need you to know what I'm doing. We need to feed off each other. Now, there's some people so high up on the ladder, they're just not going to take you seriously until they see something. I have those people in my life. There are people right now who don't know they're my best friend. Michelle Obama's one of them. She already knows. She doesn't know, but she knows. I don't want Barack. I want Michelle. Because she's the beast that made the monster, that made the man. She's the one that turned down going on the second term because she really should have been the president. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm not even in politics. Are you guys following this conversation? Because, I mean, quite frankly, it's the rib that protects the heart. It's not the heart that makes the world. I mean, if you play chess, you understand that the most valuable piece on the board is the queen. I mean, for a person who understands, I mean, you have to understand. King is very immobile. It needs an army to protect it. Strategic, smart. Well, I think I've reached my maximum limit for today. Today was a good day. We're just getting started. I would love for you to get in touch with whoever your uplines are. If you have access to me, then let me know. Send me a message. I want to know that you chose today to reinvent yourself, recreate yourself, do something dramatically different. I did. I cut off all my hair. Something dramatically different. Go get you some new glasses, right? Rick, Maria, any of us. Go do something. If you're conservative, do something loud. If you're loud, do something conservative. Reach out to 5 people, 3 people. Make sure that you have that human connection. Let some people know, I just was thinking about you. You'll be amazed if you did that consistently, how many people will show up to support you and be there for you when you need them versus you just calling when you need something. They'll want to do something for you versus needing that need is like, I mean, we call us like, call people up. No, don't call me. I haven't talked to you in a year. Now you want to sell me something. But if you reached out and you kept that connectivity going just out of, how are you? And here's your last note for the day. It's a 2-sided coin. And I'm going to say this to you. You guys can reach out to me. My question when I meet people or when I talk to people is always, how can I serve you? If there's something I can do for any one of you on this call, if I can do it, I'll do it. I'm not Jesus. But find me and I will serve you. Whatever that is, a strategy, a plan, advice, direction, how can I serve you? Why do I make that offer? Because you stayed on this call to hear everything I had to say. That was price in itself. That's the most expensive thing that you can give away is your time. So if you spent and invested your time in me, I'm giving you that invite right now. Get in touch with Wendy. Wendy has access to my schedule. Every one of you should have access to Wendy's number. If not, you can get in touch with Bree, Sam, Julian. Everybody here knows. That's my left brain. My right brain is handling everything else for me, Miss Yancey. But I would love to speak with you over the next 7 days in some capacity if you need me. I said it was a 2-sided coin. If you have anybody in New York, please get them to me. That has nothing to do with the coin. But here's the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is for you to become that person that is a servant leader at the highest level. And if you are, figure out how to become more of it. Start listening to when you meet people, ask to them asking you, how can I serve you? You'll know who to let into your world. If I don't hear something within that realm of what can I do for you? How can I serve you? How can I make your day better? What can I do to make you smile? What can I do to be able to bring you more business? Hey, I have a church you could talk to. Hey, I have this. I have a publisher. Hey, I have something you're doing investments. If you don't have, I mean, you're listening for how people are coming to you versus asking for something from you. or just happy to see you. How can I serve you? So can I get you a coffee? Can I get you a tea? Can I put you in touch with somebody? Find those. It's a very rare breed. It's a very special tribe of individuals. It's a very special race of human beings. But those you keep, they become roots. Those are the ones you keep in your life. They will feed you and not look for acknowledgement. They will feed you and not look to be seen. They will feed you and not look for, for people to see or validate them. They will feed you and not look for anything in return. They will continue. They're underground. They aren't looking for anything. They will feed you. You will become an oak tree. You will become a redwood. You will become so large when you have the right roots in your life. And their job and roots is to make you larger than life so that you can feed others. I definitely need a copy of this. Julian, find whoever's recording, give me a copy. That was all the Holy Ghost. I am complete. I love you guys.